Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear participants of the VIII Moscow International Financial Economic Forum, which is traditionally at this time is held in Moscow, and as you know, due to the fact that we are in the process of pandemic time, the second year this event is held in a hybrid regime where we have a limited amount of speakers who are sitting in the audience, and most of them are in a remote way. I have a great honor to open the panel, the first one, which this year is called Digitalization of the Industry, Transfer to the New Era of Industrialization. And in the frames of this panel, we will consider very important for all of us questions touching the transformation of the industrial objects, among which we will consider the Industry 4.0 as a concept of development of Eurasian cooperation, implementation of the digital technologies in the tasks of the managing of the countries of Eurasian community, the role of the digital technologies in the automatization of the industrial process, implementation of the robots, digital technologies as a strategic direction of the increase of effectiveness and safety of labor at the industrial entities in the countries of cooperation. But before we start the working process, I have a nice and errand to give to the representative of the company of the lab Kaspersky. this prize, the symbol of the fact that the lab of Kaspersky is the leader of the modern technologies. And in the field of digitalization, not only in our country but in other countries, it's taking the leading positions. That's why this great symbol and diploma are given to this company. We congratulate you. A small break to make the photo. Thank you very much. We thank our dear colleagues. This is very important. Today we work over the task of digitalization and digital transformation. We'll be together with information safety. We work over the fact that the digital transformation will be supported from the point of the processes of safety. And we'll continue to work over this in future, and we'll try to make the digital events and the digital stations, digital facilities safe. Thank you very much. Thank you. In my short speech, our colleague from the lab of Kaspersky highlighted the main aspects of our today activity, and it's difficult to say that this question is very actual, that the fourth industrial revolution, finding its program 4.0, means the implementation of digital technologies in all spheres of our life and industrial activity. The digital transformation can be defined as strategic modernization of the business process in the companies and its organization systems. The last opens for us the wide opportunities for unifying the countries of Eurasian cooperation for the solving of the tasks of implementation of digital technologies in all the spheres of production activity. And in this key, we will establish the work of our panel session. I kindly remind you that you can, in the frames of discussion, you can ask the questions. These questions will be received by us, and in due course as we have time for this or we don't have time, the schedule of the panel will try to answer, and we'll come back to them in some time. And now, for the welcoming speech for the participants of the panel session, we'll have the member of the colleague in the level of minister about the anti-monopoly regulation and competition of Eurasian Economic Commission, Arman Shakliyev. Please, we kindly ask you. We welcome the members of the VIII Moscow International Financial Economic Forum, which has traditionally recommended itself as a very important discussion facility for the professionals of the high level. In my opinion, the organizers successfully formulated and created the topic of the today's session to establish the bridges, not the walls. In the new reality of the business Eurasia, it's the bridges, four-line bridges, and digitalization is to speed up the process of driving of these bridges. The driving is alive for us, and the key aspects of freedom need the on-time regulatory process. Presidents of the countries of the Union, as you know, in the previous year have taken this strategic decision on the development up to 2025, and this is for the nearest perspective. Year 2021 is the year of Kazakhstan as the head of all the union bodies, and the head of Kazakhstan, president of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, defined the aspects of import substitution, strengthening the internal connections of the union, and establishment of a mutual events and cooperation and network establishment and transport technologies. The conditions of the fast digital transformation can help to establish the closer cooperation and connections between our entities. We are always saying that the added value should be created inside the Union. And in this key, special value is the work held by us in a sphere of the state budget purchase for establishment of full frame, equal access of the deliveries of the Union, acting on the general rules, establishment of equal rights for the country's producers in state purchase, in our opinion, will be significant stimulation for increase of the level of localization of industrial goods and commodities. This is the key factor which helps to develop the production and the chains between the suppliers of the spare parts and products. This will attract the additional investments that will serve also the increase of productivity of labor and the growth of the added value. One of the most important achievements of the Commission in the year 2021, we can consider the entering into force the rules of defining the country of the origin of some commodities, industrial commodities, which are considering the conditions of the production. 263 species, these are almost 10 branches of the industry. In April, for the implementation of these rules, we have launched the digital platform of Eurasian Register, and now we have more than 4,000 of the goods and items. These are products of the countries of the Union, and we hope that in the nearest perspective we will see the significant dynamics. And in fact, in the purchase, at least 3 suppliers out of 5, they will be suppliers of the members of the Union. In October of this year, we have taken the decision of the mutual recognition of electronic digital signature in a state purchase, and this is breaking through decision which finally have taken away the obstacles which existed for a long time, and moreover, now with the plenipotentiary bodies, we have the active work on development and discussion of the project of agreement for the recognition of the bank warranties by carrying out the state purchase. We are planning until the end of the next year to take this agreement, and this is also will establish the opportunity seamlessly without barriers to participate the purchase in every country of our union. We have also the practice of anti-monopoly regulation of the digital markets. I should also touch about but the absence of the general harmonized attitude for the control of peculiarities and geographic product borders of such markets, mutual substitution of the goods, also establish particular demand for the approval of the Union, and we have already started the implementation of these massive tasks, and we have the errand, and I'm pretty much sure that in the nearest future, together with the countries, we will prepare the attitudes and practically implement the activities for the definition of these peculiarities of regulation of the digital markets in the frame of one speech. Of course, it is difficult to cover all the aspects of our work, but I'm pretty much sure that from year to year participating in the events of such level, we continue to talk about the particular dynamics, progress, and in fact, not only the walls, but between the countries will won't have even small barriers and fences, and all together that will lead to the business activity on the Eurasian space will for the other integration, and the Commission is open for the establishment of the dialogue with all the interested parties, and today we in fact are working on the principle of one door, and that excludes the opportunities for different bureaucracy aspects. And pushing one clicker of the mouse, we can, at the website of the Commission, get deep into the big work to become the participants. And all this serves and directed to increase the potential and opportunities of our integration. I would like to wish all the participants of the forum fruitful discussion, and I'm pretty much sure that the results of this work on the field of the forum will be taken a lot of ideas and decisions which will be practically implemented into the activity of the Commission. Thank you very much. Dear Manabayevich, many thanks in the name of all participants on the forum for this interesting program. For this program speech, which is giving us a particular direction in the agenda of our discussion, and it was a great pleasure I moved to the working part of our panel. And the first speech maker is Finnish company Autotech. It's Autotech, which is famous all over the world with its big projects, and it also enters as a result of all the studies of 2001 at the VIII organization in the top 100 biggest organizations with the most sustainable business. And I think that this speech will be very interesting for all of the participants of our forum. And with a great pleasure, I turn the floor to the Vice President of Automatization of the company Metso Autotech, Matti Järven. So please.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Veli-Matti working at Metso Autotech. So just a moment, I will share my screen.
Okay, Matti.
I hope now everything is okay. Are you sure? Are you seeing what?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, I hope so. Okay, so the 10-minute presentation is about how to overcome uncertainty with metallurgical digital twins. I'm working as Vice President in Automation and Digital Solutions product group in Minerals business area. To start this journey, we need to discover the main drivers for digital transformation. The mining companies and the minerals companies, they need to have the investment risk. We need to overcome the productivity challenge as the raw material prices are record high. Now I lost the translator voice, but hopefully it's okay. We have a shortage of skilled labor, especially in digital area. We need to answer to the sustainability demand and cope with the declining work rates. In Metso Outotec, we are covering the sustainability in two ways. So we want to be planet positive. And this means that we are committed to the 1.5 degrees journey to reduce the emissions and achieve our sustainability goals. We focus on the footprint, which means that we are a responsible and trusted partner, and we also partner with sustainable companies. What we mean with the sustainability handprint is what we offer to the market. And everything what we offer to the market, solutions, processes, and services are being planet positive. So they have a sustainability impact, whatever we deliver. Now I lost the voice of the translator, so I have...
No, we have simultaneous translation, it's all fine.
But let's try to continue. We need to start from the plant optimization to increase profitability and sustainability. Plant optimization has proven results in industry. When we have fluctuating processes which are difficult to control with human intervention, plant optimizer can stabilize and optimize the process to a new control optimal. This has certain benefits like advanced control improvements, reduction of human factor influence, higher availability and transparency in the operation. And by proven results, we mean that we have references and measured customer cases where we can show these results to be happening. A plant optimizer can be referred to a conductor of a chamber orchestra who sets tempo for each instrument section and keeps harmony throughout the play. And such conductor of an orchestra can be a plant optimizer, which is a metallurgical digital twin. And this metallurgical digital twin is relying on different process optimizers, which each deliver the process optimum and the results that are expected from them. So a plant optimizer simultaneously and continuously adapts to the targets to achieve the optimized output. Then we can introduce the metallurgical process twins, as a digital twin is a digital representation of a real-world entity. It is a software object or a model that mirrors a unique physical object by the definition. And a metallurgical digital twin as a plant optimizer measures raw material, process state, production value and costs, and of course inputs that to the process optimizers. And now when we introduce the digital twin to the control of the optimizers, we can get the feedback from the process and input that back again to the real life plant, where we can predict and optimize the process further. When looking at the real life example, we can see what does it look and feel like? So we have different measured and proven scenarios and models how the real life plant works in different optimums. And we can run the plant and measure it as in online in real life. So what we do is that we create a static or dynamic process model, which is adapted online to track the plant response. The model is connected to physical process, and we provide tools to build scenarios and analyze results. And this enables the fast predictions of what if scenarios and simulations. So we can, of course, measure the process history, but with the dynamic models and with the digital twin, we can predict what happens if we change something in the process. And this prediction is being accurate as the digital twin is a replica of the real life plant. So then coming to the mine to mill profit optimization. From the mine, of course, the material goes to the physical plant. And in the digital twin, we build the virtual plant, which is the virtual replica. The mineral information, the mineral and element composition, texture and ore hardness, market information like metal price, cost of energy or reagents, ecological footprint, water availability and other constraints, and asset information is delivered to the virtual plant, where we reach the metallurgical optimum and sustainability optimum, whatever that might be in the specific case. From the physical plant, we can get the performance feedback, and again, in the mine operation, update the models in the geological resource models and mining plan. I believe that you have received the presentation from Sandvik covering exactly this part of the optimization. And this results to the economic optimization of the site or the operation or the company itself. So as a summary, metallurgical digital twin is based on the process model that is connected with the physical plant or process. Metallurgical digital twin can be leveraged in versatile plant optimization tasks and therefore has a significant value generation, and which is possible through operations efficiency improvements. Important is that digital transformation journey is not a one-shot investment. It is a continuous improvement effort. And therefore, raw material and market fluctuation can be mitigated with a metallurgical digital twin. And as a result, a economic optimization for the site and business can be gained. So this is a very short 10-minute presentation and a brief teaser for the metallurgical digital twin and what we can do with such technology. We are delivering this technology at the moment. This is not science fiction. In Russia, we already have several customer cases ongoing where this kind of technology is being implemented. Thank you very much. And as always, I'm happy to receive any questions.
Спасибо огромное.
Matthias, thank you very much for this very interesting report. In the name of the forum, we apologize for some technical problems which didn't let you at the full beauty to open the interesting technologies which are a suggestion to the industry, but I think that slowly either the pandemic will finish and we'll continue to work in a normal format, or the technologies the technologies will achieve such a high level that we are going to talk as if we are sitting in front of each other. In this aspect, the pandemic really made a very serious influence on the communications between people. And if you remember, just recently, we using the telephones were talking as if we were sitting in front of each other. Thank you very much. And now we move to the next report. And this report is prepared by the Sandvik group of companies. This is the global machinery industry companies with more than 40,000 employees in many countries of the world, and recently this company is doing a lot for the solving of the tasks of digitalization, digital transformation of the industry, and using the robots in the conditions when the normal functioning of people is difficult or connected to the big industrial risks. That's why, with a great pleasure, I turn the floor to Dmitry Minaev, Director of Department. The head of Department of Sandvik Mining. So the floor is yours, Dmitry. Good day. I hope that you can hear me now. Yes, it's all fine. Now we can hear you. Thank you very much, Alexander, for the introduction. And today I would like to tell you about what our company has achieved in the field of automatization of our mining work. First is underground mining work, and we developed the direction of automatization. And my today's speech and my presentation will be dedicated to the automatization of the underground mining work. First, we would like to stop on the topic why we need the automatization, digitalization now, why we're talking so constantly about this. And as all of us remember, the mining industry is a dangerous industry, and unfortunately, in the news we regularly face the news about the different tragedies on the mining pit, and everyone know, the miners know that those who are in the underground pit, they increase the risks of the mining. If you look to the right, you see the number 3 million of hours, or even more than 3 million of hours. This is automatization of the equipment, self-driving without any traumas is happening. That's why, just imagine, 3 million of hours the trucks are working in the mine pit, and there is no injuries, let alone the safety. We have more dramatic interest, and this is the increase of the of capacity and taking down the operation costs. If you look on the graphic, implementation of the system of automatization helps also to increase not only the productivity of the equipment during the shift and to make it more equal, but to continue using the equipment when people in the pit are not presented and the equipment is staying. And at the present moment, the record which is achieved, the record on the work within the one day is 22.5 hours out of 24, so 1.5 hours the equipment does not work, and that was in the maintenance, it was filled with fuel. And if we compare with the longevity of work of the equipment which we have now, this is 18, 16, in the best 19 hours, then the difference is significant. Generally, our company suggests 3 directions of digitalization of the mining work. This is direction of mining sandwich. This is the transfer of telemetric information, the work of equipment. This direction is OptiMining, which is in charge of the analytics and optimization of the process of the mining. And this is AutoMine. This is intellectual equipment and the systems of automatization of the mining process. And on this direction we talk more detailed. And as I have mentioned, the system of AutoMine also lets sitting upward in the comfortable office, like me sitting and like you sitting in the office, to operate heavy several ton equipment which is 100 meters under you underground. And there is also examples when this examples when there is far away 100,000 kilometers in Australia, when it was managed in one city and the equipment is in another part of the country. So this system enables in a distant remote control of the equipment. There is a special arm chair with joystick and the pedals for the operator, using which the operator can manipulate the equipment. There is a kit of onboard equipment, the systems of safety kit, which isolate the zone of work of this equipment and prevents the penetration of any people on the facility. And the main important fourth component in the wireless system of data transfer, it can be VLAN, or that can be also for GLT. Our company is proud that we were the first who actually launched this project in the world. That was 2004, and that was our mining pit at the Yenta in Chile. And at the present moment, it looks like this. This is the photo on the modern one, of the modern working place of the operator. And as you can see, the operator sitting on the surface is managing in comfortable conditions the equipment. This is the actually loading truck, and our park is more than 500 vehicles. We have provided the system of automatization for more than 74 mining pits, and that was in the previous months, and now I guess we have even more. And also we have solutions for automatization of the drilling equipment, and this direction is also developed by us. And the decision can be as simple as remote control of one unit, when the operator is constantly sitting and distantly controlling the work of the truck. And also it can be fully autonomous work of the vehicle, when the operator just puts the end point of movement and the vehicle is moving through the mining channel and actually making the program function. This year we also have launched the first project in Russia, in Norilsk Nickel, 2 trucks, and they work. And you can see the photo how it looks like. There is the operation cockpit, there is an arch-chamber, the video wall, the server. The truck is equipped with additional components, and generally I can say that the customer is satisfied with the system and tries to use it every shift break. And if we talk about the Norilsk Nickel, it's too early to talk about the result. We just implemented the system, but I can give examples of implementation of the foreign facilities and companies. There is a most picturesque example on the benefit. This system on the golden ore in Canada, in 54 days, that was the investments returned back. At the present slide, we can see the several examples of different factories and all the factories. and this is up to 30-35%. They're taking down the expenses and the increase of safety and safe. And as I have told you, there is a solution for the automatization for the drilling. And you see how the profile of the mining has improved when it started in fully autonomous and automatized work. And also drilling can be for the sewers, and that can be also for the rigs and fields when the operator is sitting on the surface and managing this process. And in a conclusion, I should say that Sandvik is developing in the present moment a new concept of the system of automatization, and it's absolutely new type of the equipment. It will be in 4 or 5 years. That will be totally new vehicle, new type of equipment. It will not be equipped with a cockpit for the operator. It's from the very start. It's supposed to be under the AutoMine system operation. It will be equipped with the sensors of 3D navigation. It means that it can perceive the environment in the 3D model, and then can be able to work together with people who are at the same block, at the same horizon. It will be equipped with AI intelligence. That's all from my side. Many thanks for this opportunity. And Alexander, I turn the floor to you. Dmitry, many thanks for this interesting and fruitful and really important report. I'm really lucky that I have seen some of the examples of the usage of your equipment working in this regime, in this automatized or remote operation, and that was in our country, that was also in other countries, because me as a specialist in this field, that was highly interesting for me, and I can say that this makes very strong impression, and this is a big future, and many thanks for this material which you have provided. And now we can imagine the perspectives, the opportunities which are for the mining industry in the field of implementation of the digital technologies. Thank you very much. Dear participants of the forum, we go forward on our agenda, and with a great pleasure I would like to introduce and turn the floor to Alexander Poznikevich, the manager for development of the business in the laboratory of Kaspersky in our country. I think that, and in many countries which are listening to us right now, I would like to inform you that the statistics is saying that according to the data, in the work of forum, there participate in almost 36 countries, not around, but not approximately even, but 36 countries, and these are countries which are listening and following our broadcast, and this is remarkably more than these are participants of the previous year. It means that the materials and the data which the forum provides, they're interesting for many of those who are working on the real industry and who want to implement the most modern technologies on the factories where they work. So, Alexander, the floor is yours. Good day, dear colleagues. Once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Alexander Pozniakevich, and in the lab of Kaspersky, I am in charge of direction of industrial safety. Everything what is connected to the development of the business interaction with our end users, partners, is in my zone of responsibility. And today we used to talk about the digital twins. Today we already spoke about the digital factories, digital grids, and the digitalization, Industry 4.0, digital twins, digital grids, and the digital tankers. These are words which are more and more often mentioned in many companies. There are strategies of digital transformation. But we understand that for a long time the system of industrial automatization they were for isolated usage, but for the present day, the needs and demands of the business are growing, and the data of industrial automatization are transferred to the other systems in order to take faster decisions for the processing of the data that causes risks about the informational safety, and more often, and we see the specialized attacks on the segment of the operation system. That's why since 2017 in the lab of Kaspersky we have our own direction on the industrial digital safety, cyber safety as we call it. But we can talk about the company itself on the market which we work and which achievements we have in the Kaspersky lab. The lab of Kaspersky exists more than 20 years. More than 20 years, we developed specialized solutions for the protection of different infrastructures, starting with the computers and industrial service and working stations. More than 35 offices of Kaspersky Lab are all over the world, and at the present moment in the company we have more than 400 million users and more than 4,000 employees. And separately we should mark that because of the Kaspersky, it is marked by different agencies, and in the part of the industrial safety, Forrest and Sullivan acknowledged us as the most leaders in the cyber safety. Gardner, Forrester, the colleagues also mark our products and on the highest level. They mark, and separately I would say that in the lab of Kaspersky we have a specialized center for the studies in the field of information safety, also TP. Kaspersky said this is more than 40 experts all over the world who constantly study the threats of the vulnerability incident study analysis of the industrial protection. In the segment they call it have the status of a number 30, which also helps to detect the vulnerability and to inform about them and to give them particular numbers. Moreover, in the lab of Kaspersky we have own department of the experts in different fields of the energy, oil and gas industry, and these are the experts which used to work in companies as Siemens, Emerson, Schneider Electric and others. Moving to the particular solutions, as I have told, in 2015 we developed the specialized components for the protection of the industrial infrastructure. And these are two flag solutions of Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity for the provision of the safety, also TP, and Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity for the network for analysis of the industrial traffic and finding of the invasion. And we closely work with the producers of the system of automatization, and since 2015 we develop the relations. We test our solutions with the biggest vendors, and we also partnership agreements on the delivery in frames of OEM agreements of our components together with the systems of industrial automatization. So Emerson Company in 2020, together with the delivery of the system of automatization, has implemented the solutions of Kaspersky Industrial Security for nodes and KICS networks. The protection of armors and servers, we developed several directions, and these are decisions of Kuma and monitoring of the deviations in technological process. This is a solution, and this is for the monitoring of reaction of the incidents, and the solutions for CyberLook for the integration with the clouds, for the safe transfer of data from on the level of OTP to the clouds. For example, now we have with the colleagues from Siemens, we have the partnership in the mine sphere. We can transfer the data using the protected Schluss with our system. And also the protection of the air space in the new solution, which will be this year Kaspersky Security Card for the digital modeling of informational safety SOTP. This is the digital twins program and digital project making of information safety. At the present moment, we have really a lot of customers from different industries, Russia and abroad, and about this we can talk about some open case in our discussion. One of the benefits of our portfolio, this is the ecosystem, and this is the engine in one support, technical support, and successful projects in the world. We should mark also the projects with company AGC, which providing the Volkswagen, Mercedes, and other products to other famous companies. Since the start of 2018, we have implemented the KIC solution at the production, and in a couple of years, we did the integration of our Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity with Tomorrow Connect. That also shows that we are open for different cases of integration, for different cross-production scenarios, and we also enter this field. If we talk about the energy, we interact with company Alperi from Italy, and this is the company which is making the electric and gas supply for 280,000 customers, and the colleagues for the system of management, they use the KICS solution, KICS for nodes and KICS for networks. The company is one of the most famous and respected consulting companies in Denmark. They have undergone our specialized training for the employees, making the testing for the penetration in our SOTP. Transport terminal VARs in Baltics, quite some time ago, they use our solution, and this is also very remarkable case. We are talking not only about the digital places, but the digital terminals, which also needing the specialized attitude for providing the safety. Company Abero is specialized in complex project for learning and preparation of the personnel in HR. They're working in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, and colleagues successfully make the training for different customers. And also the colleagues have undergone our training for the providing the safety, and they are authorized for making the training on the increase of the awareness in the digital safety of SOTP. Let alone this, at the protection in the Pavlodar petroleum factory, that's quite a long project. The colleagues stage by stage implement this technology. They implementing it and providing all the safety of the network. And it's important to highlight that the colleagues implement the digital technologies, and they have chosen our solution for providing the safety of digital objects. If we talk about Russia, we can define several fields. In different fields we are presented, for example, the energy. In the energy company, they use unified energy companies. They recommended themselves quite good, and we continue cooperation and we enlarge it. Network company of Tatarstan, they also choose our component to protect the infrastructures, and there are digital rigs which we also protect. KAMAZ, today we were talking about the vehicles with remote control, specialized cars. We also work on this direction with KAMAZ, and we also mean the production. The company is protected by KICS solution. We also work with the colleagues in the part of our operation system, which will be installed in the cars for the safe operation of KAMAZ. Metallurgy, it's very critical production from the point of information safety, and we all understand that for the reason it is stopped. That's why it's the industrial safety, and we have a big cooperation with the colleagues of metallurgy Severstal factory, and the colleagues implement not only our solutions, but they undergo special courses for the increase of the awareness in the field of the information safety, specialized courses for the cyber incidents in industrial segment, and let alone Severstal, we cooperate with colleagues of Cherepovets and others. I can tell you about it later. Mosgas, not only metallurgy and oil and gas industry. The colleagues from Mosgas, they understand that it's necessary to protect the industrial infrastructure, and they are protected with KICS Networks solution, and more than 7 centralized servers are protected with a specialized decision of solution of KICS for nodes. Nizhnekamsky Tires Factory Tatneft Group, they use this solution. They understand the importance of safety on production. And the channels of protection of channels to clouds through specialized Kaspersky IoT Security Gateway, and we have implemented the concept of Internet of Things, including the sensors and controllers which are on the facility, and the data received on the level of controllers were transferred to specialized clouds in a protected way. Colleagues from Orenburg region, they implement in the frames of digital economy, they make the smart city program. And already today it was mentioned by Chimpezy or Chelyabinski, not Cherpez but Chelyabinski factory. They also use our safety for the service, and they also use Kaspersky anti-drone protection against the drones. And one of the possible vectors of penetration of any criminals on the object is the drone. And inside the lab of Kaspersky, we understand that it is important to protect the object against such lines of attack. Yes, it is not only information safety, but this is the verge of physical and informational safety. One of the last project which we implemented together with Promtech company, this is the protection of the objects of the company of industrial group of phosphates, which is a part of Eurasian. This is one of the leaders of producers of the acids, which understands the informational safety, and together with colleagues they have implemented the solutions of KICS for nodes, KICS for networks, and let alone this, the project was marked with a special award in our internal conference in September of this year. And as you see, the informational safety is very important, not only for the field of oil and gas or energy industry, but that becomes also important in all the industries. That's why we work in this field. This is why we try to provide the safety for the objects of critical information infrastructure, and we continue to work together with you, together with the companies which are presented today in the forum. Thank you very much.
Александр, большое спасибо за этот очень интересный, содержательный доклад. Ну, трудно переоценить вклад лаборатории Касперского.
Thank you very much for this report. It's difficult to overestimate the support of lab of Kaspersky in development of digital technologies in Russia and abroad, and we have seen that the products of this company are all over the world distributed, and the direction which is developed in the recent time connected to the information safety. And also to information safety, this is a topic which is quite recent, but it is on the verge of the attention of the bodies on purpose, because everything what is in a digit has particular vulnerability. And we are really thankful We are thankful for this company for these unique solutions to protect the Russian factories against the cyber threats. Not only Russian as well factories. And the logic, sum up of this success is this diploma, this certificate, this award which we have seen the ceremony of. And using my privilege, using the privilege of microphone, I congratulate you and your team with this high award, and would like to wish all of you the future success in these starts which you're so brilliant in. Thank you very much. And we move, we go forward, and according to our agenda, we have report of which is introduced by company Siemens. The company Siemens, I think that it's really difficult to introduce them because I'm pretty much sure that all who are here in the screen or in the audience listening to us, presented with us, all of you at some extent, at some level, faced the products of this company. And at the present situation, we talk about the industrial segment of this giant, which is making the automatization very widely, introducing digital technologies. In the report, which it is prepared, it is managed by the Alexei Samashov, the head of the business server of the company of Siemens of Germany. Alexei, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for this introduction. That's a great pleasure that the company Siemens is known for many of you. And I would like to show Siemens company from different sides. And as automatization in the industry and 80 countries in the world in digitalization, which we are talking about, which are telling you, your customers, this is for us very important. And we implemented the digitalization at our factories, and what we learned, I would like to talk about it. As any factory, for us, is an important moment. They increase the productivity, the lean production, Kaizen, all these things you know, and I'm pretty much sure that you have heard about them. And for us, it's just not the words. From year to year, these are the activities and events which we must implement and increase our productivity and effectiveness. And from year to year, the effectiveness of such events, it started first to stagnate and then to go down. Everything what we could optimize, we optimized. Everything what we could improve. The market is growing, and the market and the optimization of the price of our products. In here, to our support, we have digitalization. We have the new tools which we have on the market, and you see them in the Internet of Things and automatization in the AI, all these things, and the classic lean management methods, and that made a big push in the growth of productivity. So this system, this event, we called the new word. We launched the program which is called Lean Digital Factory. And this consists of several modules which I would like to tell you about. And this is to the left part of the picture. This is the workflow and we see the tools of optimization, And the big model, this is the process, and it's impossible to digit the process which are not well adjusted. If you digitize the limb project, you get the limb digital project. Nothing good you can get out of this. So initially you need to establish the process, then to digitize it. The next tool is the big data and the analytics. What we can fish out of our big data, of our production, and how that can help to optimize. The next work stream, the next group is the implementation of the robots on the facility, and where the robots really are able to increase their productiveness, and where they are this driver of the increase of productivity of our products. And very important part is the methods of the work. How in new way can you treat the production and the work, and how to change the attitude of people, the mindset. We have a new system of the work with concept of the new normality, where every employee is working 2 days out of office and then from home. So where it is possible, it is also applied for the production, for the engineering personnel is working like this. And how all that happened? Parallel on the 30 factors that will launch the program of the change and implementation of the digital solutions and the digital transformation that started in 2017 with several workshops and definition of the structure of the project. The expression of separate people, appointing of separate people who will run the change of the structure of our factories. Then, starting from the workshops and ideas, we thought about the ideal process, how it should look like. We studied the radar of technologies, what we would have. And there is a word of mapping. We connected to the IT platforms which we have or which we must have implemented. And starting from this stage, we wrote the map of digitalization for what and after what goes, and what are the mechanism, what is the tool which is implemented, and we have split in several years. And here you see all these 5 working flows which were mentioned on the previous slide. And we established the ideal IT infrastructure, how we would like to see that, and we discussed all the tools which we need for the implementation. And we have defined what is the most important, the architecture of the production system, how we will measure all this, how it will be controlled. And in 2018, you see that practically we needed 1 year for the preparation, and we moved to the implementation after that. The implementation goes through the standard methods, the control hypothesis, the launch of the pilot project, and the enlargement implementation on the whole factory. But we understand that the time goes fast. We have new technologies. That's why always we consider the map of update, and the update, the technologies brings us back to the thoughts and this repeat of the process. If we have something new, if we have something what is significantly changing, this way we have undergone, and what we face, what we see. For me, this turned out to be a revelation, because if we compare the structure of our costs before the digital transformation and after digital transformation, this is looking like this. On 1 unit of the product, the material expenses were 65% and 15% were direct costs of our personnel, and then 5% this are engineering, capital expenses, and other expenses. So this is the structure of the expenses, which used to be so 80% our products were the changeable costs that were considered of the produced equipment, and the 20% are fixed costs which did not depend on the amount of the issued products. After the implementation of the digital technologies, we managed to achieve that the connected to materials to the unit of products went down up to 50%. and the expenses for the personnel went down from 5 to 10%. The engineering personnel went down, the increase from 5 to 10%. The capex increased up to 10%, and IT expenses increased from 5 to 15%. Through this, we have that the changeable costs depending on the product, the way they used to be 80 became 60, and the fixed costs changed also. This is the revelation, this finding of the lean production and digital transformation. Let alone this, you can see how our factory was growing since 1991 up to 2019, and the factory on the same facilities producing 13 times more products. And you can see here thin line, this is the amount of the personnel. The amount of the personnel within all these years, it did not grow. It means that 13 times more we produce at the same facilities, but at the same amount of the personnel. And taking down the amount of the mistakes. And you know, there is such a parameter of defects of the million of studies, and we see that the amount of the defects for 1 million of studies is diminishing, and now this is only 0.001%, so it is the amount of mistakes. We received a award from German magazine Handelsblatt. This is our factory in Anburg, and the factory received this award as the best business solution as 4.0. You can say great, but how that can help the Russian market, how can that help you? Why I am talking about all these things? In fact, Siemens is able and would like to share our experience. We have our consulting of two types, which we suggest our customers. The first one is consulting of customers' value discovery base, and those who know the methodology of Kaizen, this is the metrics where we start with strategic goals, and then we consider what we need in order to implement these strategic goals, which projects we are going to implement, and which metrics will help us to understand that we are moving to the right direction. This is the third method of consulting which we suggest our customers. And the second method of consulting, this is double diamond, or method of double diamond, when we find the problem, search the problems, make the prioritization, and choose the most important problem for the customer, and after that, together with the customer, we find the solution, how we can solve this problem. And from our side, we are telling about the modern technologies which exist on one side. On another side, the customer is open to share all the important tasks and problems which he has. And in fact, this is not everything. We also are making the promotion of the digitalization. We tell our customers what is the digitalization, why do we need that, and we can express three stages. This is first one, to make the general idea of what is the digitalization, to make it deep, to make the understanding of what is digitalization, and then out of this definition you can work the project making and implementation. So initially the customer should understand why he needs the digitalization, how can it help him in his technological process, in his particular, and to make the digital industry 4.0, and this is not effective only. And we make the methodology. This is a methodology of lean production through the champion and skills, and the Russian Lean Company were the sponsors of 2021, which was held recently in October. The UGMK won in this tournament. The second place was Eurasian, and on this competition there were companies as Euras UGMK, Polymetals, Chelyabinsk Factory, Alrosa, Gaiski Factory, Raspadninsky, Coil Pit. So the topic of the lean production, the topic of lean is very important and interesting, and it's difficult. It doesn't make sense to implement from above. The main is to stimulate the personnel, to make them enthusiastic to search these optimizations on the production. And the second competition, which we also sponsored by Siemens, this is the international competition of the week of production, IP-WIP 2021. And also on this acceleration, that was really unique experience of online event, and nevertheless, accelerator. These are several teams announced the ideas of optimization of production, and the next, within 6 months, together with the best experts of the world, we developed these teams and we helped them to find the optimization. And then these teams plus some other new teams, they made the competition, and that was the transformation and international jury have chosen the best projects within several nominees. And the third is Siemens together with, in the frames of the Innoprom exhibition, and there was a competition, Star 4.0. This is industrial innovations, and for us it was this. That was an offline competition. This was the only one which we managed and to participate, and we held in offline. And that was really interesting, very live, and that has shown that digitalization and innovations and Industry 4.0, it is presented in Russia in metallurgy and also in the mining industry, and there were presented 8 different projects from very big companies, and there were from NLMK, 2 projects from Norilsk Nickel as well, from Russian copper company. There were a lot of interesting things that was really enthusiastic, and for me it was a pleasure that digitalization is just an empty word. That's why I ask to develop the digitalization and increase the effectiveness of production. And if someone has any questions, someone would like to participate in this competition the next year, or would like to say that to get deep, this is my contact. Please write me, address me, I can tell you. Thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much, Alexei, for this very interesting report, which is on the corporation of Siemens from another side, from another angle. We all understand that Siemens is the leader of the industry, and many equipment of Siemens is used by many, but that the Siemens is investing a lot in the propaganda of the digital transformation, in making the competitions and webinars. From time to time, I receive the suggestions to participate and to participate myself, and my colleagues I invited, and I studied the topics of these events. It's highly interesting. It is very informative always, and this is always acute and fresh. That's why, in the name of all the participants, let me thank you for this very informative report, and I wish that this enthusiasm, what is inside of business in the topic of the promotion, it will not go down, but it's going to develop. Thank you very much. Thank you very much as well. Dear participants of our forum, The next in the program, we have a report which is prepared by the director of Department of Automatization of the company Industrial Technologies or Промышленные технологии, Oleg Lertiev, and I turn the floor to him with a great pleasure. Thank you, Alexander. Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Lertiev Oleg. I'm Director of Department of Automation of Industrial Process of company Promtech. What I would like to talk about. Definitely, today the world is facing the era of industrial revolution. This industrial revolution was called a digital transformation. We should mark that IT companies faced this process before, but the mining industry, in order to preserve and to multiply the benefits, did not stay aside. What are the concept of digital transformation? What are the steps, in our opinion, you should take on this journey? This is what I'm going to talk about briefly. A little bit about our company. Company Promtech is the innovative factory. It's specialized on the decisions on the technological process. And the history of company has more than 25 years, which company is always in the field of automatization. And we have suggested the automatization of the industrial process and this was the era of the total digitalization. And the potential, and this is the services of digitalization of process to and significant capacities and constant enlargement of the equipment, which is developed by our employees. It helps to provide the modern systems of the technical meanings. And within the long period of time, the main direction of development of industrial factories was the optimization and implementation of the methods of financial flows. Now it becomes obvious that this attitude is not giving the expected margin, and because of this, in the conditions of the competition and definitely high dynamics of behavior, the production has to search the alternative methods of increase of the margin. The main of these methods are in the field of the increase of quality and modernization of technological process. And of course, because of this, the digital transformation is a very on-time solution. And what is the digital transformation? We have different outlook. The digital transformation is the method of transformation of technologies. Some people consider that digital transformation suggests the new attitude to the markets and interaction with the market. The third suppose that the digital transformation is a totally new way of business. All these assumptions are right to some extent in its context. If we talk about the digital transformation from the point of modernization and management of the production, then we can express three main tasks. The main task is defined in the strategy of the digital maturity up to 2030, 2040 on the state level. It is approved in the Russian Federation. It's in the modernization of the process in the industry, which can lead to a significant increase of productivity. This also solved by the two following tasks. This is modernization of the management of the technological process and transformation. This is the main task, and digital transformation makes the influence on all the industrial metrics. This economic effectiveness of the process, safety, reliability, in corresponding to the state acts. From the point of mentioned by myself, the strategy, the main benefit is the increase of safety of labor. This is achieved by different methods and taking down the amount of the work in dangerous zones and the increase of safety. And the benefit is also the increase of productivity of labor. This is also achieved by huge amount of routine work which is excluded, providing the employees to ability to concentrate on the solution of the tasks, increased on the effectiveness. And there are more than 25% of time the dispatcher, and this is for about the information forms and gathering of the information to different services of the ORP, and also and I don't mean the taking down the personnel amount in the process of digital transformation. Nevertheless, considering the robotization of some process, of course, the positions of the personnel are transformed. In this status, there is a shift of the center of competence from the personnel to the side of the information management systems. Through this, the production does not lose its effectiveness by the change of the management personnel. And of course, in the process, implementation of such systems as intellectual counsel methods of the AI can help at any moment of time trace the production and take the in the development. The methods of connection also takes down this management decision up to directly to the customers, and the sustainable backward communication warranties the decisions taken. The significant benefit is the opportunity of dynamic planning of production. Because of the demands of the market manipulating such parameters as the quality, the volume of production, and in some cases this is the type of issued product that can also enable to make the digital transformation. Moving from theory to practice, we need to remember that one of the main tasks of digital transformation, transformational methods of mention of technical process. And in the concept itself of the digital transformation, you can see the tendency for the globalization. This is the globalization of the market, of the views, of ideas. The same process about the theory of the management. And you can see the integration process. And if there were tasks solved by the management of the several pumps, I don't know, mills, and some other nodes, within the time, the tasks were becoming more big, more robust. There were tasks to solve the automatization of technological lines and some joints. From the point of digital transformation, we have even more growing of the object of automatization. There is a globalization of the task, and there is a task of managing of directly the properties and characteristics of production generally. If we look on the modern digital system, we can split in three clusters. The first cluster is a cluster of production systems, which is the integrated into one harmonized information field digital platform. Every of these digital platforms is solving the conceptual task of managing of this or another characteristics of the factory. As far as underground mining industry, this can be the digital platforms of running the environment of the ore, and the complex safety as underground work is about, or digital platform for managing of extraction and transportation of the or mass. The second big cluster is the information management systems. and it needs a big the volume of data, and the AI in digital and transformation, and this available in systems of adaptive management and directly by the managing personnel. Directly to the managing personnel on all the levels. The next independent cluster is the cluster of providing systems. The tasks of this cluster is the transfer of big data volume from the digital platforms by the methods of the multi-source networks of data transfer, processing of this data with the usage of the method of AI, and provision of processing of the data by the calculation capacities, also with the usage of technologies of virtualization, which also means the availability, and also the tasks of the cluster is the proper storage of data, also with the implementation of cloud solutions. And of course, the modern digital production should have the one center of decision making, the center of management of production and effectiveness, the central dispatcher complex. On the next slides, I can show you the main methods of generalization of the methods of management into the digital platforms. As I have told you before, the main characteristics of the digital transformation, this is the throughout integration of the process of management of the factory from the point of achieving the synergy effect and transferring of the production into one manageable eco-environment. And such systems as the systems of mobile connection, dispatcher, the system of position of the personnel and transport, the systems of technological TV machine this can be unified in the digital platform of position and connection. This platform by its essence is solving the tasks of the transportation, increasing the effectiveness of the safety on labor, and also because of this function of discipline. The systems of analytic monitoring and control, dispatcher of the equipment, they bring the synergy effect which is expressed in the effectiveness of every of this process, and this is also solved by logistic task. The significant effect is the unification of this process as the manager of conveyor transport by the different elevator systems, warehouse systems, and unification of these systems in one digital platform helps to solve most important topics for the underground production, to make the dynamic distribution of the flows of the ore mass, and to make the direct management of the quality of the ore, making at the conveyors. And this is the digital platform which gives a warranty of the necessary amount of the ore material necessary of the needed quality, we should say, going forward. Significant effect also has the one set of the digital platforms of providing all the supply systems. It's like communications, heat communication, and energy resources. The system provides the control, providing the significant influence directly on the creation of the final price of the product, which is crucially important at the present moment in the conditions of the very strong and really aggressive competition. very important from the point of the underground work is the provision of the safety. First of all, this task is solved by the forecast of the accidents. In the platform are integrated such systems as forecasts of the roof of the mine, systems of the emissions of the gas possible, and prediction systems. Of course, the effect of the implementation of such platforms, there is increase of safety and prevention of dangerous systems and in mine work prevention of different malfunction. All these digital platforms generate a lot of data, and with this data you must work, you must process them properly, and you must provide the proper assumptions based on them. At the present moment on the market we have significant amount of this software kit which can help you to work with big data, which provide you to implement the technological twins and to train in the virtual environment of the production from the point of achieving of any optimum, keeping the real safety. To apply the methods of we have such systems on the market, we should also mark that we have impulse in development of such systems, and not the last role is taking the state participation and the grant support which is done by the government in the development of the systems, which helps to speed up the process of digital transformation. As I mentioned before, in the base of this there is the concept of digital transformation. First of all, the transformation of the outlook on the system of the management of the and showing the effectiveness of strategy of moving to strategy and the roadmaps. This attitude helps more dynamically to adapt to the high dynamic of the market, to the changes which are in digitalization generally. At this slide we have provided the main steps of transfer to the digital production based on our experience and our deep expertise in the field of management of technological process. In our opinion, making these stages is mostly safe and effectively provide the factories to undergo the difficult way of digital transformation, and our company is ready to provide the qualified support on this journey. Thank you very much for attention. Oleg, many thanks for this report. Dear participants of the forum, you know that you have an opportunity to ask any questions about the material which you heard, or the questions which are interesting for you but maybe not included in the list of discussed, but to some extent they are about the questions of digital transformation of the production facilities. And we move forward, and with a great pleasure I turn the floor to Axel Pankevitz, the director of the sales of company Sympatec, Germany. The floor is yours. We cannot hear you, sorry. We cannot hear you, no sound. Some technical problems, I guess. We cannot hear you.
So can you see it now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, great.
Все отлично, мы видим.
Yes, it's all fine. We can hear, we can see you. You can start.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
You should be able to hear me.
Yes, we hear you.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Can you see my presentation slides as well?
No. We have your slides missed. We cannot.
Okay.
Now we can see your presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's make a new start. Good morning from Germany. Thank you very much for having me. I have the big pleasure to hold this presentation on behalf of my Russian colleague, Mr. Dmitry Tozenev, who is unfortunately not able to do that, but he was asking me to take over, and it's a big pleasure to hold the presentation on his behalf. But unfortunately, I cannot speak Russian, so I have to do that in English. But I guess that shouldn't be an issue. So my topic today will be the opportunities and the options that are there using the Sympatec Opus system to optimize the mineral processing. So this is technology made in Germany. So it's made here at Sympatec in Pulverhaus in Clausthal, Zellerfeld. Just a very brief overview where I'm coming from. So Sympatec is a truly international company. So we have around 200 people that are employed around the world. Manufacturing development is all done in our head office in Clausthal, Zellerfeld, Germany. And we have different offices where we have sales, service, or even demo equipment available. In Russia, our head office is based in Ekaterinburg. And from there, we are covering the entire CIS. This is just a brief overview about the company. So now I'd like to show you how we can improve the efficiency in the field of ore dressing or mineral processing. So Sympatec offers a system that can measure the particle size and the solid content online in real time, and you can make use of this data to improve the process. So typically, the configuration of our equipment and the setup is a three-stage concept. So we have a primary sampling where the sample is taken from the process line, for example, after a hydrocyclone. So then, if the sample is taken, it's transferred to the secondary sampling box, and from there, a part of the flow is passing the online particle size analyzer, which is based on ultrasonic extinction. So the entire system looks like this. So you have a so-called multiplexer. So this multiplexer is used to connect the online analyzer to up to 4 streams. So you have the sample inlet, you have flushing lines, you have level sensors, and you have the Opus sensor that is doing the online real-time measurement. So with this 3-stage concept, we have certain advantages. So the primary sampler is making sure that you get a truly representative sample by a vertical cross-section sampler. These can be shark fins or pipe samplers. There are different options. So with this, we are getting a very large sample amount of something like 200, 300 liters of suspension for each analysis. And of course, with this, we are making sure that we have an excellent statistic. The secondary sampler is basically a multiplexer that connects up to 4 lines to the Opus online particle size analyzer, and that is making sure that we are getting the correct amount for analysis. So we have a permanent flow, so without any stop, so this avoids sanding and blockages. And of course, with a multiplexer, we can control the flow speed through the analyzer itself. So the Opus sensor is measuring continuously, so you're getting real-time information on the full flow without any dilution or sample treatment. And it's a very robust design that has no moving parts for dilution or Eurasian or something else. So this is what you can typically expect. So here you see a trend graphic of typical values that are used in the mineral processing industry. So you see the 45 micron value means the amount that is below 45 micron, and you see the amount that is below 75 micron. And in addition, we also measure the solid concentration. So here you can see at this point in time, for example, the solid concentration has been increased, and an increase of the solid concentration immediately decreases the fine fraction. and decreases also the 45 micron value. So that means the particle size distribution becomes coarser. So with this knowledge, of course, you can interact. It means you can start to play with the process parameters that you can control to bring the particle size distribution, the fineness, into a range that you need for the subsequent stage of flotation or whatever you might have behind that hydrocyclone. So from the previous slide, the observations that we can see are that an overloaded mill means if you increase the solid content too much, this can be detected. And of course, you immediately see that the particle size distribution values decrease and the entire product becomes coarser. So, and as a conclusion, we can say that overcharging of a mill by a too high feed rate at constant energy generates a lower mass-specific comminution energy, and of course, this reduces the mill efficiency on the minerals. So if the solid content and the particle size increase, of course, this may influence the efficiency of the subsequent flotation. And of course, there's always a danger of sanding of the flotation cells. But using online particle size analysis clearly can avoid this kind of thing to happen, because you have online monitoring that helps you to avoid those process disturbances. So very often we are asked, how does the online particle size analyzer Opus, which is based on ultrasonic extinction, correlate with other technologies? Very often people are using SIF analysis, and here you see how we can match the Opus system with existing analytical technologies, for example, a SIF. So here we are looking at the number of measurements as a trend, and we are comparing the Opus results, SIF results at certain mesh sizes. So you can see that the match between those different mesh sizes is really excellent. You see that for 400 mesh, for 325, for 200, and even for 70 mesh. So you see we are able to match the Opus result to something that our customers are used to, which is known and which is already established. There are very interesting or very important application strength when it comes to measure the online this particle size distribution for ore dressing. So we have this three-stage concept with the Opus that allows to measure particle size and solid content in real time to control the process. And this can be combined with representative sampling, and very important, because our customers usually have more than one stream, they can use the multiplexer to connect up to 4 streams with this multiplex feasibility. The entire system has a very robust design, so it's designed to be operated in a harsh environment. The installation is rather simple and the handling as well. So, and we have very good comparability to other established methods, for example, sieving. In case there are more questions regarding this kind of technology, there's a list of people that may be contacted, and you see we are present all over Europe, but also present in Russia. So you see here the second on the left, that's my colleague in Russia, Mr. Dmitry Telzenev. So he can be contacted for any inquiry regarding application support, in-house demos, or project discussions. Of course, I'd like to extend this invitation to see us here in Clausthal-Zellerfeld. We are open for visitors as far as this is possible under the current restrictions regarding traveling, but we are very welcoming here visitors from all over the world. So welcome to our Pulver House, which is the Innovation Center for Particle Measurement. And this was my short presentation about this technology and how we can support, let's say, processing of ore and minerals with our technology. And we recently see very high interest and also good order income from Russia. So that kind of builds the bridge here between this technology and the demands that we are seeing from the Russian market. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your report, and I would like from my side to say that the company of industrial technology using your technology and has received very good impression from all the analytical systems which were already launched, and they are now working in automatized profile. We would like to wish your company great success not only on the Russian markets but also in other markets where you are presented, and to thank you for this level of technologies which you are providing to our industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we, in due course, we move to the final reports. And initially, this was a report which was introduced by the company Trollex, Great Britain, and this is associated member of UPMEC. This is Association of the British Producers of Ore and Mining Industry. Association has more than 100-year history. The company Trollex is well known and they are the producers of controllers and sensors for the underground mining work. And if recently, in the frames of this company, there were developed several very interesting directions about which we asked the company, which exclusively is introducing the British company Trollex on the markets of Russia. This is company Industrial Technologies. And I turn the floor for report to the head of the project, Anton. So Anton, the floor is yours. Good day. Thank you very much for introduction. My report will be today about the safety on the mining industry. The fourth industry as a program of the Industry 4.0. This concept according to which the implementation of digital technologies will let the international economy will get on the new production level. The final means that the establishment of such factories, the unified environment, information environment covering all the processes and safety.
Во всем мире охрана труда переживает период масштабной трансформации. Меняются подходы к выстраиванию системы управления охраной труда, совершенствуется инструментарий управления,
And
меняются бизнес-процессы.
the business processes are changing. There are several directions in the sphere of labor protection and industrial safety where the usage of digital technologies can be the most effective, such as the control of the safe labor production and the labor condition control of the state of health, documentation of procedures in the sphere of labor protection. In the presented report, we consider the question of digital technologies for the particular tasks of control of safety of production and the conditions of labor. One of such tasks is the control of the container of the dust. The industrial dust, this is small particles which are expressed by the mechanical process of different materials, upload, unload of different carcass, and the dust of different size can attack and can bring the harm to the human body and even can cause the lethal cases. More than 15,000 people die because of the lung diseases, because of the dust at the working place. And because of this, in many countries in the world, the new laws in part of this protection. In Australia now, the container of the dust is the obligatory demand, and to solve this task, the company Trollex has developed the system of management of the concentration of the new generation. In RxD, we use the optical and this is repeatability of different particles, and that provides the very high level of precision in the particles independent on how dirty is the environment. One of the differences of this equipment is the simplicity of installation, and for starting the work of RSD you just need the power supply, and then it starts to register and calculate the data. Despite its simple in its process, the system provides the lab preciseness. Using the breaking-through methods together with the patent algorithm, RxD is able to achieve the level of precise normally used in the lab equipment of the high level. The simplicity of its use and robustness is significantly increased because of the pump's reliability. The equipment does not need the regular maintenance, and RxD can work in any production conditions, and it provides the reliability with a parallel taking down of the general costs. One more direction which is also facing the digital transformation is control of the movement with the underground work, the underground attacks and falling down. This is the biggest tragedy. For solving this task, the company Trollix has developed the systems for the which provides in the real time the movement of the ore in the whole shaft. The automatized monitoring provides the control in a real time and increase the level of safety of the work. Independent assessment shows the taking down the amount of trauma for 65% with the increase. And it's easy to adjust.
Анкерные тросы вставляются в скважину, в кровли или стене вывода и закрепляются на месте с помощью пружинных анкеров, соединенных с
And
концами.
they are connected to the tires. Any shift in the height of the anchor well
относительно этого анкера. Анкерные тросы соединяют опорные точки с электромеханическими измерительными полотнами, расположенными внутри корпуса датчика мониторинга кровли. Затем движение визуально
and then
отражается
the
в кровли,
movement is
фиксируется на кровли,
expressed
производит
on the controller, which gives the information to the display. The gather analysis of the data has a very important task with the Trollocs core application, and the warning about the movement of the layers and provision of the safety. The surface, the data can be used in the future work. For example, in the system of the anchor, with the planning of the future work, and so on. Unfortunately, because of the limited time, today I introduce only part of the equipment. If you're interested to know more about the company and Trollocs, please you can address, and these contacts are presented on the screen. We are ready to answer questions if any, and thank you very much for attention. Thank you for this interesting and informative report. And these two technical solutions which today we introduced on the name of the company they take very interesting position, especially the measurement of the dust contained on the workplaces and in the air. And we have heard that and there's also in the legislation there are some regulations about the dust contained in this kit. This device is very interesting. That exists as a stationary kit, which Anton told us about in his report, and it's also as the portable option, which is making the individual protection of the personnel against the dust. It may be sad, but on this speech, we have exhausted the list of our speech makers and the topics, and I would like, on the name of the management, on the name of those who participated in the organization of this event, to thank And and we hope that the reports which you heard, the attitudes and the digitalization of the industry, that will be helpful for you. And we will meet on different round tables and on the forum, which is definitely will be held in the next year. And we hope that the next year we will be able to meet looking at the eyes of each other in a wider format, that this story with the pandemic will be over. And once again, many thanks for attention. Take care of you and your nearest and dearest.